Hey, how's it going, guys? It's Tuesday night again. What's happening out there in your guys' neck of the woods? Where are you all hiding tonight? Long Island Mopars, welcome along, buddy. Yep, cheers. Got a Mopar question for you tonight too that you might be able to help me shed some light on. But we'll wait till a few more get on board before we get into there. Zolly's Auto Clinic, hey man, welcome along. What's going on? Not much yet. Don's Manufacturing, hey buddy, how you doing? Sixth Street Garage, welcome along. J. Russell Finch, all the regulars are here. This is cool. So, this is a bit corny, isn't it? What's the weather like? It got cold today here, man. I actually had to kick the heating on for about 15 minutes today just to take the edge off. It suddenly got cold. Zolly's Auto Clinic. Cold today here, and of course working outside. Well, at least I don't have to do that. I had all the doors shut and everything. I had to go outside just to see if it was looking about, thinking about raining, which it wasn't. But yeah, you get the place all shut down and keep the cold out, and then you kind of lose all track of what's going on in the outside world. There's no windows. You could be doing anything out there. Ooh, getting ice up your way, Long Island. Wow. Yeah, I mean that's going to come here for sure, but not yet. Not yet. So for those of you who are interested, a lot of you would have probably seen the that 70 Challenger TA that I had in, I think it was about 3 months ago. And, that had like a mystery compression loss that appeared to be pointing at appeared to be, but I didn't really think it was, like a burnt valve or something like that. So yeah, got that back in the shop. Almost got the head off tonight, but not quite. Kind of ran out of time. Had to get home, so I could do this live thing. Yeah, so that's going to be a video very shortly. We'll get. I got the intake off and the manifolds off. I just got to pull the heads and see what's going on in that thing, because it's kind of pretty weird. It's kind of pretty weird. Bill Duffany, how you doing? Welcome along. J. Russell Finch. What's been happening in the shop today? How's that chassis fitment going? Actually, that chassis fitment is going. That's another video that should be out maybe tomorrow. That Project Swiss Cheese with the Mustang Stafir chassis in it. That I'll be honest, it did fight me a little. Trying to get things lined up, we had to make a few little tweaks to the chassis. Minor, but a little bit. It just wasn't the way it arrived, and we really haven't determined whether it was something that happened in transit or whether it was just a little. And we're talking about a degree and a half of tweak in the frame along the length of it through a horizontal plane, and it just made the front rails not want to sit where they actually wanted to be. So yeah, a little tweak, a little bit of porta power, and it's there. And that's coming along nicely, actually. That frame's all in, all the torque boxes are in, it's all welded in. And today we got finished installing the floor, so all the floor's in. So it's actually looking like, like a car again, which is kind of nice. Josh Homan, good. Welcome along, bud. Andy Nickel, hey. Dr. Art, how you doing, man? How's that Dodge truck coming along? I saw you had a door back on it. That was good. Was it actually properly on? I didn't actually get to see the video. I was just so damn busy. But I gather that, yeah, you had the door back on. Hopefully it was on for good. Pop's Mustang Shop. Thanks for the great content. Well, thank you, Bill. Thank you. Kami Sam Iscaro. That's a name and a half. Sam from Australia. All the best. Love your content and what you do. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate it. I mean, I'm just doing what I do and kind of letting you guys, quietly watch in the background, or virtually is kind of how it goes. I just film, what goes on day to day. A lot of it is. So yeah, glad you're enjoying it. Beagle Bob, welcome along. Hey Kiwi, I wanted to comment on the old Chevy 4x4, but for some reason YouTube wouldn't allow it. Huh, that's weird. I don't know why that would be. Lots of other people have been commenting. Yeah, that's a truck that seems quite polarizing for people. Got a lot of negative comments about patina. A lot of guys kind of hating on patina. So more than I would have expected. A lot of comments on the wheels, which I did kind of expect, because they're certainly not, everybody's cup of tea. But they are other people's cup of tea. So, old timer, you love the Chevy truck. Well, that's cool. Good. Andy Nickel, Chevy truck was cool. Lots of people like patina, but I like new paint. Drove too many old wrecks in my youth. Well, that's true. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm not a big patina fan. But in saying that, since I got Marge, it's like I kind of like. I mean, she's like serious patina, and it's not faux patina; it's the real thing. But I kind of like the way she looks, which is a bit odd for me. I even had a customer say to me, "I didn't think you were kind of a rat rod patina guy," because most of what we do leaves the shop, super shiny, mirror finish paint, and looking all perfect. So it's a little bit out of my mainstream, but I like it, and I did quite like that truck. I'll be honest with you, I wasn't a big fan of how it drove. It was a little too bouncy. It was just a little harsh. I think it would be. The guy's not planning on doing many miles on it. It's basically a novelty for his kind of little lifestyle farm that he's got nearby, and he just wants it to puddle around and once a week maybe. So I think it's going to work quite well for him. But yeah, I wouldn't want to be after driving it. I wouldn't want to be daily driving it. It would. It's just a little harsh in the ride, a little vague in the steering. Wants to track, those big oversized wheels make it want to follow the roads. And a lot of the roads around where I am are, they're not bad, but they're not great. They're not like silky smooth. So yeah, you kind of got to pay attention. And honestly, at the end of the day, when I'm done, I just want something that I can just rest my, the palm of my hand on the wheel and just, do this and make my way home on autopilot. So yeah, that truck's not one of those trucks that you could just, as I say, cruise on autopilot. Old timer might have painted it black. I mean, there's so many colours you could have painted it. Josh Hoshman, YouTube is glitchy. Okay. Old timer, yeah. The Chevy truck was fake old patina, not the same. No, it's not. But yeah, it's like a clone SS. Chevy. It's not the same, but still, still looks pretty cool. But yeah, I'd rather have the real deal. But I guess most of us would agree on that. Right. Old timer, yeah. Only original ones, absolutely, yeah. One like if I paint Marge, then like that is lost for all time. It's like lost to history, I guess, or old photographs. You know, And some days I look at it and it's like, oh, that'd be so nice with a slick, period coloured paint job. Some of the kind of pastely colours that they did back then in the 50s would look pretty nice. So I don't know. Depends on the day. Depends on the day how I'm feeling. And, but yeah, there's a couple of other things. I'm not. It's not something I need to commit a lot of time and energy to thinking about really, because there's so much other stuff to do on that car. Um, Time. Still say your channel is the best on YouTube. Well, I mean, I appreciate the sentiment, but yeah, I mean, I'm working on it. Hopefully, it's getting better. And I mean, I appreciate the comment. I really do. And Yeah, it'd be nice to have some of the numbers that some of the big channels have got. But I'll get there. I'll get there. Andy Nickel, yeah, you can see the truck being good farm truck. Maybe good on gravel and out in the field. Yeah, and he probably, if he needs to pick up something, I don't know, a couple of bales of hay for his little farm. In New Zealand, we call them like a farmlet, and I think that's what he's got. But it might be like 20 or 30 acres or something. But Yeah, I think it'll be good for what he wants. He's going to get it. He's got a name for his farm. I can't remember what it was, but it's something farm, and he's going to get that like paint sign written on the side of it. The old school kind of pinstriping sign writing guy, which I've given him a number of a guy that does that. So yeah, he's talking about getting that done on the doors, and yeah, it'll be a nice piece of what would you call it? Not really yard art. It's a way more than yard art, but that kind of thing. Like it's going to look good, sitting out the front of his place, or on the side of the driveway or something. Yeah. Zolly's Auto Clinic. You got a recommendation for chrome rims to help knock down that funky aluminum corrosion. Uh Not quite sure what you're asking me. Like how would so you're trying to reduce the? I'm not sure what you're asking me. How is another set of chrome rims going to knock down the funky aluminum corrosion? Are you talking about the way the aluminum wheels turn after time? Um, Kind of losing something in the translation there, but I'm sorry. Uh, I tried some Willet Pot, Still Reserve Bourbon, and I thought about you a couple of nights ago. Oh, cool! I haven't heard of that one. Willet Pot, Still Reserve. I'll have to keep an eye out for that. Is that kind of a high end drop or a little more mainstream? Right. So one of the things I said in the description, I'm kind of wondering what some of you guys are up to, like heading into winter. Do you kind of park your car up and leave it be till spring, or who's got big plans over winter to get out there and get stuck in and have um, something a bunch better come spring. Um, so yeah, tell me what you guys are doing. Pot still, okay. Oh, pot still, a type of distilling. Okay, huh? I've not heard of that. A pot still. Okay, I have to look that up. I have to do the old Google thing. Beagle Bob. If you cannot anodize the wheels, you can look for a chemical conversion similar to iodine. Iodine is what we use on aircraft. Okay, there you go. Okay, I get it. It's Ollie's Auto Clinic. Yeah, I've got a set of American Racing aluminum rims that have got chrome plating and they're getting rough. Ah, okay. Hmm. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't know how to. I don't think you're going to be able to reverse that. Maybe put the brakes on it with some of that stuff Beagle Bob's talking about. Um, um, so the rims, they've got a chrome plating when they're getting rough. Yeah, so it's actually, I guess the corrosion's creeping underneath the chrome and pushing it off. I have seen that happen. Yeah, I don't know what you do about that, man. Um, I don't know how much there is you can do about that. Um, Other than like get them re-chromed. Like I mean, a chroming plating shop would probably have the answers for you, but not going to be a cheap answer, I'm afraid. Long Island Mopars. Coronet and Charger are mothballed in the garage for the winter. So that's where they stay until it warms up again. It's old timer. It's a mid-level bourbon, really tasty, but I'm a single malt man. Fair enough. Okay, I'll keep it. Is that something you can buy in the kind of mainstream bottle stores, or is that a little hard to get? I'll give it a whirl. I'll give it a try. Beagle Bob, winter is my working season in Arizona. Well, yeah, I bet it is. Too hot otherwise. I've been swapping a 302 and T5 into a new Edge Mustang. I just need to wire the ECU and button up the fuel lines under the car. Nice, nice. Don's Manufactory. Betsy needs master cylinder upgrade and the drive shaft vibrates after replacing the U-joints. She is a driver, rain or shine. Well, good for you, man. The U-joint, that shouldn't have created a vibration. Um, didn't get a needle roller stuck under one of the caps, did you? That's caught a lot of people out, and may or may not have caught me out. But yeah, when one of the little needles just can sometimes fall under, uh, like under the main piece of the cross, and just hold it off center slightly. Often you can still get the circlips and that kind of thing in, but having that one needle roller at the bottom of the cup, it just pushes the steel cross one way, and that'll make a vibration. But I don't know. You may well be well aware of that. I'm not sure, but that's just what sprang to mind. But yeah, I mean, yeah, new U joints shouldn't create a vibration. They well, I guess they could make it slightly worse, but I wouldn't think they would create a vibration. Hmm. Hi, Kiwi. I just saw a car modeler that built a 69 Cougar in the spirit of a 65 Mustang Shelby GT350. He did the fastback conversion on it, etc. with blue stripes. Looks nice. I bet it did. 69 Cougar is a good looking car. Huh. But that was a model car, like a scale model. I assume you're talking about. Long Island Mopars, yes, they're covered with blankets and comforters. They sleep better than me. In the spring, the Coronet will get a 4 barrel and new front end, but missed bushings are perished. Okay, most bushings are perished. Right. Yeah, old age will do that. Yeah, I've got to do that on Marge as well. All her inner bushings are pretty much toast. I've got them, just got to get it apart and get it done. Which I want to do because the things, since I lowered it down, I just wound it down on the torsion bars and put blocks, some lowering blocks on the back end. And since I did that, it pulls to the right, but I don't want to get a wheel alignment yet because I haven't got all the bushings and ball joints in. So, yeah. Okay, old timer. I'll keep an eye out for it. What's on the yes, small model car. Okay, that sounds cool. Where did you see that? Is that something you see on YouTube or um, yeah, kind of curious. Whole time. I want a project car, but cannot be trusted with power. So what's the point? Well, get a six-cylinder Falcon. No power, but still cool-ish. Fairly cool. And if you decide to hot rod the engine a bit, well, you might get it up to 180 horsepower. So I'm sure that wouldn't get you into trouble. Don't care too. Evening Kiwi. We still have a few more shows before the snow. LOL. Having a glass of screwball peanut butter whiskey. Have not heard of that one. I can't do peanut butter. Oh, that's terrible stuff. I don't know whether they've got an allergy to that stuff or what, but I can't even stand the smell of peanut butter. It's terrible. Yeah. Peanut butter smells like a bloody portaloo in the height of summer to me. It smells terrible. Yeah. I don't react to it or anything. It's just like, oh, gag worthy when I smell it. It's terrible. Screwball is great as an appetizer. Okay. Eric's Garage, welcome along, Eric. Eric's Garage. Kiwi, do you know anything about 60s Volvos? One of my neighbours has one, and he's riding around the neighbourhood. We did a resto on one. I think it was a 67, the P1800, which was the Volvo's little sports car. They're a little 1600 or 2-litre four banger with a 4-speed and overdrive. Unusual looking car. Most people that see it have no idea what it is. But it's kind of cool and quite popular in Europe. The Volvos are very popular. Most Volvos, older ones, are very popular in Europe, and they're doing all sorts of crazy things to them. I saw one with a V8 outboard engine in it, two-stroke V8 in the front of a very homely-looking, like boxy Volvo. But I imagine it went like merry hell with a two-stroke V8 in it. So yeah, I know a little bit about them, but yeah. What's Onda? Channel is called Model Car Muse. Will be one of the most recent videos. Okay, I'll look out for it. Model Car Muse. Okay. Andy Nickel. I'm tempted to drive my crappy old Alero for winter, but my convertible Sebring with the standard trans and front wheel drive is too good on ice and snow. Well, yeah, that's tricky, isn't it? Convertible Sebring in winter. That's an interesting choice, but yeah. Zolly's Auto Clinic. I love peanut butter, hello, but I can't see tasting it when drinking whiskey. No, I mean, that's just wrong at so many levels. No. Don't care. It's better tasting than it sounds. Well, don't care. I am going to take your word for that, and I am not going to try it, and I won't be looking out for it. I'm sorry. Oh, no. All right. So keep them coming, guys. Tell me what you're up to. So yeah, about the shop, we just went and what's happening in the shop? We just brought Winona Judd's 57 Chevy back to the shop. It's been out getting a new exhaust system made for it at the local muffler shop, and got down there, and it promptly ran out of gas pulling out of the driveway of the muffler shop. So that was a bit of a pain. Instead of 10 minutes picking it up, it kind of took an hour by the time we figured out it's showing half a tank of gas. So it's like once we figured out it wasn't actually getting any fuel, and there was a gallon of gas kicking around, so we threw that, and it immediately picked that up and started to fire. So we had to go and get more gas and 5 gallons of gas and put that in. And finally got it back to the shop an hour later, which was a bit of a pain, but that's what these old girls do. So that was another little job to add to the list, is figure out why why it's showing half a tank when it's absolutely bone dry. So yeah, so that's one for tomorrow's list of things to do. And as I was saying earlier, we've got the 70 Challenger TA, the 6-pack 340 car. So I did a video about 3-4 months ago on that one, and it had the weird goings on in the cylinder head. So we're going to find out tomorrow just what's going on with it. The head's about ready to come off. Just ran out of time. So we'll be pulling the heads off and inspecting them in the morning. So expect a video on that soon. There was a lot of speculation as to what was wrong with that car. And honestly, I don't think any of us have got it right. I'm pretty mystified as to what's wrong with it. I think there's a crack in the head somewhere that's allowing combustion gas up into the top of the head, somewhere around the valve springs. You can clearly hear compression coming out somewhere around the base of the valve springs, that's weird. Even old Uncle Tony, he'd never seen it or heard it, anything like that. So yeah, a lot of speculation that it was a burnt valve, a bent valve, stuff like that. But why is this very audible sound of compression leaking away, hissing out every time it came up to TDC? Telemarketer, they can go away. Yeah, so that's going to be interesting. So watch out for that video. We'll finally get to the bottom of just what's wrong with that car. And given how rare it is, when I'm hoping there's nothing terribly wrong with the cylinder heads, but I'm pretty sure it's in the cylinder head. I'm just not. It doesn't make sense what it's doing. But we'll find out. Andy Nickel, the Sebring has great heat, even with the convertible. Oh, fair enough. Okay. There you go. It's all about being warm in the middle of winter up your way, I'm sure. Zolly's Auto Clinic, currently contemplating a Corona and lime. Is it not cold there? Yeah, I do like a beer, but it's nice. Beer's nice when it's hot. It's not, for me, it's not really a cold weather drink, and it was cold today. Golfy 09, how many cars do you have, Kiwi? What is your favorite? I've probably got, me personally, what have I got? I got the Mustang, my Mustang, the KSV, which is honestly is probably my favorite car. Got the Mustang, got the Falcon convertible, got the 65 convertible that I built for my old man Mustang. So it's 2 Mustangs, 67 Barracuda, 59 Plymouth, the Mitsubishi Conquest. Yeah, so that's six cars. And the Falcon. The 66 Falcon. It's 7 cars. He's making me think now. What's my favorite? Like I said, probably the Mustang, then Marge, then that Falcon. The Falcon is just a cool car. It's kind of a bit of a non-event because it's a 6-cylinder auto, and it's anything but fast. I mean, it's competent. It's not gutless, but it's not fast. But it's just really easy to drive. It's just it's got AC that works. It's got heat that works. It's got radio that works. Everything kind of works on it, and the interior is nice. You're not like a Marge is cool, but her interior is just shot to hell. So yeah, it's noisy and it's and there's holes in the floor and stuff like that. So it doesn't make her pleasant to drive. The Falcon's just quite pleasant to drive. My biggest battle is now leaving it alone, not turning it into a hot rod. Which that might be a battle I lose yet. I don't know. I've got a 289 and 4-speed there that would just bolt right in a day, and we could be off and rocking. But we'll see. So yeah, about 7 of my own, and then obviously, and I've got 8. Sorry, I've got the blue. That blue thing, as Tony christened it, the Audi RS7. So yeah, I forgot about that one. It's like That, yeah, which is the favourite? That's a tough one. Now, that's a tough one. The Audi's got to be right up there as well, but I mean, for vastly different reasons, like vastly different reasons. Um, so it's hard to really call one as just being a better car, or um, yeah. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. I like them all. Okay. Eric's Garage. I'm about to tackle my first paint job on my 71 Dart. Rebuilt the engine and it's ready to drop in. I've been watching a lot of. Mate, you took the words out of my mouth. As I was reading that out loud, my brain's going, I need to tell him about Kevin, but you already know about Kevin. Kevin's the guy that painted my Mustang and did a stellar job on that. Honestly, Kevin's superpower, I guess if we all have one, Kevin's is being a teacher. He is, he has a way and a manner about him that he can get across on camera and make it easy to understand and how to do things. And like he is, like he will give you like great information on any of the videos he has, and like if you keep watching him, and you'll probably surprise yourself at how well you'll do if you listen to what he's telling you. Unfortunately, some people like listen but don't really listen. But if you actually really pay attention and go, and like commit to listening to him and believing what he says, even if it seems a little odd. He's whatever he tells you is right on the money. It really is. I'm going to get him as a guest on one of the lives coming up soon on a Tuesday night. So yeah, like when we do that, it might be next week or the week after, something like that. And he's going to be here, and so come along and like pick his brains. He'll tell you, he doesn't have any secrets. He doesn't keep the good information to himself. He will tell you everything he knows. So yeah. Ask as many questions as you want when that happens. Golfy, telemarketer trying to bypass our live chat. Yeah, pretty rude, I thought. Yeah, but we've silenced him now, so it's all good. Long Island Mopars. I rebuilt and rejetted a 69 Carter AFB Competition Series 750 CFM car, mounted it to a factory 273 4-barrel intake with a spacer plate. That's the spring experiment for the Coronet. Okay, that's quite a big carb for a 273, in my opinion. I personally like smaller carbs for the throttle response factor that you get. I mean, a 273 will work with a 750, but at higher RPMs, like when you're really getting after it, it will come into its own. It will give you a little bit more than a smaller carburetor. But a 273 is a fairly small engine. So you may find that suffers a little bit low down. That's what I've found anyway. Like bigger carb doesn't equate to more horsepower. Bigger carb, will slow your airflow down as the air is going through the carburetor, because it's got bigger holes to go through. It doesn't have to go through as fast, so it doesn't pull the fuel through as well. It doesn't atomize the fuel quite as well until the RPMs get up. So, at that 1,500 to 2,500 RPM, the big carburetor doesn't typically drive quite as nice. So, but it's that balance between all-out power and, you don't want all your drivability to be just below 3,000 RPMs, because that's no fun either. So it's getting that balance. But yeah, I mean, a great experiment, and see what you like it. And different drivers like different ways of their engine behaving too. So it depends a little bit on your driving style. I'm getting a bit older and a bit lazier now, and I just I like them to pull from quite low RPMs. Whereas younger days it was all about just screaming the lungs out of them. Zolly's Auto Clinic. It's cold, but I can sit on my couch in the warm and pretend. Well, that's true. Yeah, so clearly you're a problem solver. So yeah, well done. Beagle Bob. Oh, I've got to go eat my dinner and then take the wife into on a post-purchase test drive for her in my new stick shift diesel Julie. Okay, very cool. All right. Well, have a good dinner and take care of your wife on the test drive. Jason Simmons, hey Kiwi, love your work. Watching the Hawke's Bay, cool, very good. How's the weather down in the Hawke's Bay? I say down because I'm an Aucklander, or Dorklander, as they like to call it. Jim K, what is Kevin's channel? Josh Homan already answered. Paintucation by Kevin Tates, yeah. He has some good stuff on there. He's only recently really jumped on the YouTube bandwagon. I mean, Kevin's been around for decades in automotive TV, and yeah, now he's only just recently got on the YouTube thing, and he's working with Vice Grip Garage, which is helping his YouTube profile. He's ticking along very nicely, but also he's a lot of the people that knew him from 20 years ago on TV are discovering him on YouTube, and they're like, "Oh, it's awesome! You're back!" So yeah, he's a good dude. We're the two of us are going to Cars and Coffee in Colombia this Saturday, so we'll probably have a little video of that. See what's going on down there. I'm going to take the Falcon down to Cars and Coffee in Colombia just for something different to take down there. Now, old car discoverer and explorer. Good evening. How you doing, man? Chris E. Spreadboard carb is a good compromise. It is. It's a great idea, the spreadboard. Not really sure why it didn't. Like we don't see, like the square bore is the unit. What you see the most of by far in carburetors, and really why it's not spread bore. I couldn't give you a good answer on that. The spread bore concept is a great idea. Is a great idea. Long Island Mopars. Yep, the 750 is the toilet bowl for the 273. The carb was free, so it'll be an experiment. Finding a small AFB is a small fortune. Yeah. Yep. It's a bit of fun, isn't it? I mean, it's something to do, and it should sound good. You should get a nice induction roar with it. When you get up around that. Like, how healthy is the 273? Is it like stock, or is it a screamer, or what's the deal with the 273? Jason Simmons, weather okay here, but here today, Kiwi, but windy. Where's here, Jason? You may have told me that already, but there's a few of you on here, so it's hard to, over the week, so it's a little bit hard to remember where everybody's from at times. Vilefly, welcome along. Worked for me, Chris E. for the street. That is, right. Okay. Jim K. got here late. Thank you. Well, welcome along, man. Better late than never, as they say. All are welcome at any time. We're only 38 minutes in, so we got plenty of time left. Your Digital USA. What do you think about the America's Cup? I think the America's Cup is absolutely awesome. It depends where you are in the. Do people in the USA even know what it is? Some do, some don't. Some have no idea. And it depends. If you're on one of the inland states, and then there's people living in some of the inland states in America that have never seen the ocean. So what would they know about America's Cup racing? So yeah, some do know about it, and some are really big on it, and some wouldn't have a clue. But I mean, I know there's hockey out there, but I wouldn't know what's going on with hockey. Like, it's all about what you like, I guess. But the latest round, crop of America's Cup boats are just staggering. The technology it really is like Formula One on the water. I was reading somewhere that they've just managed to hit 4 times the wind speed. I'm not sure what the exact numbers were. Is like 15 knots of wind, and they were doing 60 knots or what it was. I'm not sure, but they did hit that equation of 4 times the wind speed, which is just amazing. Like some of them are, I've seen speeds on them where they're doing like 80, 90 kilometers an hour, which is like 50 odd mile an hour, which is trucking on a boat that's up on hydrofoils, and then and it's like racing at close quarters, like really close quarters, and sometimes they're bumping each other, and it really is shades of Formula One on the water, I think. So, but it's quite a bit of coverage on YouTube. And if you go looking for America, if anyone's kind of wondering what the heck I'm yammering on about, go look at America's Cup Racing on YouTube, and you'll see some insane looking yachts just going like the clappers. Mioa Station 1. Okay, got here late. Did you already talk about the model car behind you? No one's mentioned it, actually. This one? That one. No one's mentioned it. So it's about as good a time as any. We'll get back to just a second. Volfly became rather fond of the 6869 Z28 stock Holly spreadbore car, meant to replace the Quadrajet. Okay, never had any dealings with that. Jason Simmons, Hawke's Bay, another Hawke's Bay, good man. Volfly, hey Kiwi, how you doing, man? Jeremy Parrish, how do you think the 351 Cleveland compares to the 352? But I'm suspect you mean 351 Windsor for street applications, mostly stock, maybe a mild cam. I have a 2V Clevo and my 69 Mustang. I either want to invest in it or swap to a Windsor. Seeing as you've already got it, I'd probably invest in the 2V Cleveland. I mean, it's a good engine. They're good. The 2V is the better one than the 4V, believe it or not. The 4V heads are too big. The ports are too big. The 2V makes more power, but good engine, good flowing heads. The canted valves. But that switch to a Windsor. I mean, it's not a hard swap to do to go to a Windsor. The bonus with the Windsor is aftermarket high performance stuff is a lot more readily available than it is for the Clevo. It's just how it is. I don't make the rules, unfortunately. But I'd be tempted to, I'm not even sure what's available in cylinder heads for the Cleveland. I'm sure they must be out there because I know Edelbrock was making Cleveland heads to go on the Windsor. And obviously Australia, they're like hugely popular. I'm sure anyone who's listening that's an Australian resident will be screaming at their screen going, use the Cleveland. They love them there. And with good reason. Good reason. So I'd stick with it, bud. Anyway, this model. Try and get that in there. The Harry Hurst Oldsmobile. Some of you will know the car, I'm sure, but where's the camera going? There we go. Hemi in the back, facing backwards. I think it's a no, it's not a Hemi. It's the Oldsmobile Toronado front drive engine. And they put it in the back, turned it into a rear transaxle. So that was a very popular drag car back in the day. So you got, if I can ever get that shut, and of course you got the engine in the front. So it was a 4-wheel drive Oldsmobile Toronado with the conventional layout up the front, and then another one in the back. So it was 4-wheel burnouts. Part of kind of the show circuit of that era for drag racing. It wasn't the fastest car around, but it was a showstopper, I guess you could call it. A real attraction for the fans. They just wanted to see this insane twin engine, massive engine, supercharged, 4-wheel smoking. Funny car. I guess was it a fun? Would that have been a funny car, or what class would that even have run in? It wasn't really a funny car, was it? But it's certainly it's not a regular Oldsmobile chassis, that's for sure. So yeah, so that's that one. So back to the questions. Fish Geraldine missed last week, mate. I bet you did. Fell asleep early. Been working fixing hurricane damage. Yeah. Did that second hurricane affect you at all, bud? Hopefully not. About to pass out again. Down in Vero Beach, working for my brother. Okay. Well, I hope all is well with you and your family, bud. Hope they all kind of made it through that. 2 back-to-back bloody hurricanes is rough deal. Long Island Mopars rebuilt the 273 to stock, flat top piston, stock compression, stock rods, 30 over, balance the cream. Iski E4 cam, Petronics and the original distributor. Original. That's probably quite a healthy motor. Not too much cam. Balance. That should spin pretty hard, I would think. Should be nice. Max level. You need a huge sail to get large marge at 4 times the wind. That is very true. That is very true. Yeah, but I don't know that you could really make it look good with a mast somehow. I don't really see that. But it's all good fun. Now, Golfy 09, did you ever hear from a guy, Stanley Myers water car? Ever try water injection? No, I have not. I heard a lot about it. It does work. How well and all that kind of stuff, I'm not really sure. But yeah, it does. And they've, I've heard of these like water and methanol mix injection. But yeah, it's not something I'm particularly familiar with. What's on it? Yeah, it's that is some kind of Hurst Olds. Yeah, it's the Hurst Hairy Hurst. Get it right. The Hurst Hairy Olds. I imagine that's because it was pretty hairy to drive. So story evening Kiwi. Evening. Welcome along. James Martin just tried to tune in. Some woman describing what she was wearing. Oops, wrong channel. Oh dear. Glad dialed it in. Burn the Cleveland first flip. Burn the Cleveland first flip it, then repower. Oh my god. Okay. That's funny about what she was wearing. Josh Homan, I saw that exact model in a book. Yeah, that's I've had that one for quite a while. That's a die cast. I'm not going to take credit for making that. Volfly, crazy model. Well, it was a crazy car. James Martin, Kiwi looks like something Tommy Ivo would run. Yes, yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. Roy Miller, greetings. Welcome along, man. Good to have you along. Jeremy Parrish, thanks for the opinion on the Clevo. I agree with easier aftermarket parts, but the Clevo does have that exotic appeal. Love your channel. Keep the content coming. Thanks, man. That's as you say, an exotic appeal. Like when you open the hood, like most Mustangs, you open the hood of, there's a Windsor sitting there, and then you get a few with the big blocks in them, and a few with the Clevelands in them. So it does give you a little point of difference. Which is kind of nice. That's people ask me why I put the 460 in my Mustang, and it was because it was huge, and 2, it wasn't a Windsor. Not that I don't like the Windsor. The Windsor's a superb engine, probably one of the best engines Ford ever made. But like I say, 90% of the Mustangs, you pop the hood on, there's a Windsor staring back at you, and you don't really know. Most people don't know, from the outside look of it, whether it's a 302 or a 289 or even a 351. The 351 looks a heck of a lot like a 302. There's just a few little giveaways. So, yeah, it's a little bit more of the same. So, yeah. James Martin, circus entry. You're talking about the Oldsmobile, I guess. Tim Miller, Cleveland Motors and middle cam and medium 4-barrel intake will wake it up for street build. 351 will cost a lot and not, and not cruise well. Yeah, 4-barrel intake on the 2V heads is a good combo on the Cleveland. A little bit of, you say, no, that's good advice, buddy. Tim, that's good advice. Fish Geralding, second hurricane did a lot of tornado damage in Vero Beach. Yeah, it looked pretty grim down there. It really did. Long Island, the engine shop spun the 273 to 5,600 RPM before she ran out of breath. Hoping the 750 carb with the jets I chose, based on the sizes off a 273 Commando carb that were 500 CFM. I know I'm nuts. How many CFMs the stock 2-barrel that it had on it? Just curious. Probably only 350 or something, I would guess. No, you're not nuts, mate. You're just playing. That's what it's all about. We're just having a bit of fun with it, you know. The key thing is that you didn't go and put fuel injection on it. So that I'd have to question the nuts. If you went and did that, but yeah, no, keep the carburetor on it. Chris E, 6970 Mustangs, it is easy to put too much dollars into given the lower value of the sports roof model. Sports roof. Well, they're coming up pretty strong, the 6970s. You're talking about the fast sports roofs, are fastback, isn't it? Their value's going up they've gone up a lot in the last 7 or 8 years. They've come up a lot. Yeah, and they're going to keep coming up too, because like the cost of the 60, 5, 6, 7, and 8s is just crazy. Lower value for the notchbacks. Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't pour any money into a 69 or 70 notchback. No, I agree with you there. They don't have a big value. But that could improve as well, like supply and demand, but no, the fastbacks are worth good money. The notchback or the coupes are probably one of the least valuable of the 60s 70 Mustang. Orlando Pockets, new die cast with a blower, it looks like. It's not new, mate. I've had that for quite a long time. I've had that. How long have I had that? I actually brought that with me from, I brought, my some of my car collection, from New Zealand with me. So that's probably 20 years old, that die cast. Now, Don's Manufacturing. Brian Loans did a video about that terrifying tornado. Okay, Brian Loans. Good to know. That's a crazy machine. Long Island Mopar stock 273 2-barrel is about 390. Okay. Yep. Well, you're kind of doubling it, aren't you? Up to 750. So, got to make some kind of a difference, bud. Got to make some kind of difference. Golfy 09. I wonder what kind of chat we will be doing 40 years later about cars. Mate, that's a good question. 40 years ago was 70. That's 40 years ago was 75-ish. I wonder what they would have. Yeah, if you could throw your mind back to then, what they were predicting. I really don't know what we'll be driving, or will we simply be being driven by automated cars? I can see that happening personally. I think, this autonomous driving cars is going to become a thing. Whether we like, and to some degree, whether we like it or not. And I think part of what's pushing those autonomous cars is the amount of time that people, generally are spending commuting to work and back. Like, a lot of people, I don't know what the average commute is, but I've got a 20-minute commute. Most people in California, certainly around LA and the bigger cities in California, have got at least an hour's commute either way. A good friend of mine who's on TV here in Franklin, like he has about an hour and 15 each way commute, and he's a serious car nut, but I think he'd love a autonomous car. He would just sit back and catch an hour's sleep on the way home or the way to work, or catch up on all those things that he could be doing other than just windshield time. It would be a great, if you got an hour each way commute, autonomous car would be a great use of time. And of course, the government and insurance companies would love it because it'll, in theory, save them a lot of money. Beer Rose Garage. Hey, welcome along, buddy. How you doing? Good to see you here. Tim Miller, nice model. Seen it in Hot Rod magazine. Can't buy every car. We like models are smaller. Yeah, well, this is it. Yeah, this is it exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I'll pop out a new one each week, and yeah. Now, Blue Hill Cemetery. We won't be talking about battery upgrades for EVs, mate. Well, no, I don't. Yeah, hopefully not. Hopefully not. Chrissy, back to horse and wagons. Who knows? Oh, no, I don't see it going that way. Tom's manufacturing autonomous car commute. They call it a bus. Well, yeah, but we like our privacy, don't we? Like, we like to shut our doors and have our own little cocoon of space as we're driving to work and back. I would hate getting a bus. I really would. I'd do anything to not take a bus to work. Sitting beside strangers and and all just kind of trying not to look at anyone else in the eye while you're making this trip is like not my idea of fun at all. Tim Miller, what you're thinking on spraying 3M cavity spray? Yeah, great. Do it. Like, get it everywhere you can. It's a great rust preventative, waterproofer, all those things. Yeah, don't be shy and spend $100 or more on that shit and just empty it out into your car. You won't regret it. It's really good, and get those long hoses with the little fan sprays on the end of them that'll get it into every nook and cranny. But yeah, if you've got if you put any amount of work into your car, you owe it to yourself to go to town with that stuff. Like, really go to town with it. Because you can't put too much of it in. Because if you do manage to put too much in, it might eventually run out on the hot days. So what? You wipe it off. But it will stop that salt eating your car, and it's a great rust proofer. Firefly, nitrous on the horse doesn't work so well. No, if you give them too much, they drop dead. So yeah. Tim Miller for Mustang frames. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Those rear frames are very prone to rust, up and over the rear axle. And there's lots of little holes in them, little holes that are punched from the factory. So you can get in there. You can access them pretty well. Same with the front rails. There's lots of little holes in there that you can thread those fine little wands, I call them, up inside there, and get it everywhere. It'll definitely pay off in the long run. Orlando Pockets, do you have a bunch of Hot Wheels too? No, I don't. I was never into Hot Wheels. I don't know why. It wasn't just not my thing. I know some guys, a lot of people are, but Hot Wheels just never did it for me. Sasquatch factory code, single stage black jade paint looks great, but already showing sun damage on the Torino. Start over with multi-stage advice, greatly appreciated. Yeah, Single stage doesn't typically have the level of UV protectants in the paint that clear coat does. So yeah, the two-stage paint is definitely more durable, and then the clear, it also has a lot to do with the quality of the clear coat that you put on. Um, there's a reason why one clears, I don't know, like $100 a gallon, and there's another clear coat that's for $600 a gallon. And it's not that it's clearer; it's not like more clear. It has a better UV protectant in the paint. Like it's literally sunblock in the paint, and that's what's expensive in it. And if you've got like a black car, they soak up so much heat. The heat damages the paint as well as the UVs, and stuff like red. Is terrible for fading with the UV light. So yeah, I would. Yeah, definitely go with the multi-stage, the two-stage. But check back in the next few weeks. I'll have Kevin Tates on here, and he can probably give you a more technical explanation as to why the multi-stages are better. But yeah, single stage is a cheap paint. It's a price point paint for its ease of application, because you just have the single stage. You put it on, you paint it, away you go. And I've even heard of people using single stage and then color sanding it back and putting clear coat over the single stage. Some people see that as a good way to go, and I'm not sure whether that's a good idea or not. And like genuinely, I don't know whether that's a good idea or not. But somebody like Kevin, he'd know exactly why. And you've kind of got to hold him back a little bit at times, because he starts getting carried away and getting real technical, and it's like it's just like, okay, bring it down a peg, Kevin, because we're just mere mortals here. We don't understand all these big multi-syllable words that you're using. But yeah, he's a good dude. Blue Hill Cemetery, couldn't help myself. Me and Kate love your show. Oh, thanks, man. That's awesome. Glad you're enjoying it. Beer Rose Garage, my fear is that it will all become completely disposable. The electronic takeover has dang near done that as it is. Yeah. The automotive industry is changing dramatically. That's for sure. Probably even just the next 10 years is going to be pretty interesting as to what happens. Like this whole EV thing is going to really take hold, or it's going to die away. And a lot of the naysayers are saying that it's going to go away, and the pro EV people are going to, like, it's here to stay. It's the best thing ever. So we've got two distinct camps, and one's going to be right, one's going to be wrong. But I wouldn't bet my house on EVs going away at the moment. I think there's definitely some pain going on with EVs. But like it or not, and I'm not saying I'm pro EVs, because I'm really not. Like I don't really ever see me owning an EV unless they make them a whole lot better than what they are. But yeah, I do think they're going to be around a bit longer. Volfly, riding the bus, avoiding the aggressively friendly people. Yeah. I'm like, leave me alone. Like, I don't even want to be here, and now you're trying to be friendly with me. Go away. Like, don't talk to me. Barracuda, Matchbox is better. Fair enough. Craig Nearing, greetings. Well, welcome along, buddy. Good to have you here. Chris E, what is your preference, unibody or body-on frames? I'd have to say unibody. Honestly, yeah, unibody. As long as it's in good condition. The unibodies, I guess their drawback is if they're compromised with rust, and it doesn't have to be much. It weakens the car a lot. A full frame car, you do have, they are a little bit more sturdy. they don't have the crumple zones that a unibody car has, especially the modern cars. The crumple zones that unibodies have built into them, designed into them, are very, very good, and a huge safety plus compared to a full frame. You can't build in the same level with a full frame car that the crumple zones. I mean, they're better than they were. Like your old '59 Ford full frame car. Was just a weapon. Like they hit something and they really didn't give much. They just destroyed the occupants. So yeah, and for race purposes, a unibody is better. I mean, a tube frame race car with fiberglass panels is the ultimate race car. But as far as the old school stock cars go, a unibody was better. They're stiffer typically than a full frame car as far as torsional strength goes. Yeah, I'm a unibody fan. Mike Batista, them rust bucket Mustangs are drilling spot welds for days. Yeah, I've definitely drilled a few thousand spot welds on Mustangs. I give you that. Yeah, that's a thing for sure. Right. Mike Batista again. If it's urethane single stage, you can buff it up nice. Yeah, you can. Yeah, as long as it's not metallic. I don't think you can buff the metallic single stages. That's my understanding, because you end up buffing the actual metallic because it can be right on the surface. But then a lot of single stage urethanes are solid colors, not metallics, typically. Tim Miller, Everspray sickens paint. Everspray sickens paint. Got some do it use hardener. I don't know how to mix it opposite blue. I'm losing you in that question there, but sickens, are you saying does it use hardener? I don't know how to mix it opposite blue. I'm not, sorry, mate, you might have to just try and reword that a bit. Kim Jamison, Earl Shibe. Yeah, there you go. ICE. Internal combustion engines ain't going anywhere. They practically can't be replaced. Well, no, I think you're right. I think that there's a very long, healthy life ahead of the ICE, internal combustion engines. I don't see them disappearing. But I do see them having to share the road with EVs. I do. There's an awful lot of money been invested in EV technology, and rightly or wrongly, I think there's enough money invested in it already, and so they've kind of got to keep going, otherwise they lose everything. So I think they're going to keep pushing on with it. What's on there? I know the hybrid stuff is really exploding. Electric assisted turbos and stuff like that, they are becoming ever more complex. I think the jump to EVs was premature. So much more hybrid tech. Yeah, I go along with that. I do think hybrids are a very good option. Yeah, and it depends. If you're doing a lot of round town running, I just think EVs suit certain people living in certain places. So, if the EV can do a much better job of that, and it might be more of a niche market for them, or niche areas, then, if they're doing better than the internal combustion engine in those areas and places and what the consumer wants, then give that to the consumer, Orlando Pockets, EV tech is working fine in countries that committed to it. Yeah, and it's always going to be a hard call in America. America is just so vast, huge distances, and it's quite, you'd look at it differently when you're from a different country, a smaller country, like me being from New Zealand. Like, we used to think, we want to go to a different city, and it was 3 hours away, and that was like quite a big drive. 3 hours was like, oh, that's quite a long way. What I notice, talking like people around Nashville, they think nothing of driving 8-10 hours and head down Florida. Um, and they really don't think too much of it, or 6 hours and go somewhere, Georgia or somewhere, and part of that is gas is a lot cheaper. The highways are a lot better. So you can hop on the interstate and average 70 mile an hour quite easily, for 3-4 hours, and you can get a long way. The smaller countries like New Zealand and a lot of the European countries, with the winding, twisting, hilly roads, like it's very different. So yeah, the electrics, the more compressed the population, I think the more it suits EVs. So I wouldn't be, America is not super committed to it, but I don't know that EVs fit America particularly well, other than the downtown, the big cities, the New Yorks and the the real concentration of population. But you can't go cross country in an EV. You just can't. It takes too long. It just takes too long. An hour to charge up and stuff like that. Suddenly your 4-hour trip's 5 hours, and then as soon as you get there, you got to find another charging station. It's I don't think America. I mean, it's nice and flat for the most part, which suits EVs. New Zealand doesn't particularly suit EVs because it's very windy and it's very hilly. So, and electric cars do not like hills. They just do not like hills. So, yeah. James Martin, my dog bone 59 Billy could not stand up to a 78 Malibu. Yeah, well, this is it. They, I've seen some of those crash tests with some of the old 50s cars, and yeah, they don't survive that well. A good unibody, well-designed unibody will stand up better in an accident, and particularly the occupants stand up better in an accident than the full frame cars. I assume that's what you're referring to, James. Barracuda, have you noticed that peeling clear coat is worse on metallic burgundy cars for some reason? I have noticed it more on metallic cars for sure. I hadn't picked up on the burgundy, to be honest. But that could be the red, because I guess that's this burgundy metallic is, you don't see a lot of metallic reds, like fire engine red, red. You don't see a lot of those in metallic. So possibly it's I'm wondering if the UV is eating up the actual base coat, the metallic burgundy, which is close to red. I wonder if that's part of what's causing that, is just the straight old color of it. I mean, I had a 2008 Dodge Ram, and that was, the clear coat was failing on that, and that was a dark metallic blue, and failing on all the horizontal surfaces, which tells you loud and clear that it's the UV, because the UV's beaten on it on the horizontal surfaces for the vast part of the day. Whereas sides of your car at some point spend half the day in the shade. Your roof and your hood are always in the sun if it's outside. And that'd be a good question for Kevin when I get him on here. And he'll have a good answer for that. I'm sure he will. Don's Manufacturer. I've been driving electric for 12 years. Wow, that's a long time, Don. So what did you have? Some of those early? Mind you, I guess the Prius has been around for a long time, isn't it? Is that what you mean by electric, or are you talking a full electric? Vilefly, I like what Edison Motors is doing in Canada. I like that guy. He something draws me to him. I watch a lot of his videos and his clips, and I like what he's doing and how he's doing it. And he's really making some of the big boys sit up and take notice, begrudgingly, I'm sure, but I do believe they're taking notice. Diesel generator with a battery and electric axles. I mean, the electric diesel trains have been around for decades, for that very reason. That's a good setup that he's working on. I do think he's onto something. Um, yeah, and they're more. People go, well, you're using a diesel just to charge the electric, but a diesel that never has to like change its RPM. It just sits there at the perfect RPM for power, the perfect RPM for fuel efficiency, and then just charging a battery. Then the electric motor pulls as much or as little as it needs. It's quite a clever idea. Like, it's much more fuel efficient than a straight diesel truck, because a diesel truck's always going through the rev range. Next gear, the rev count is always going up. Next gear, next gear, next gear. Whereas on those diesel electrics, it just sits there at one constant RPM, and they'll last about forever. Run like that, because the temperature, they don't get the temperature fluctuations. Like going up a hill, the diesel doesn't even know it's going up a hill. The electric motors do, but the diesel's just chugging along there at 1500 or 1800 RPM, whatever the number is that their peak performance. And when I say peak, I mean power and fuel efficiency. It's a mix, and so I think that guy's onto something, and I really hope and wish him all the best, because they're really kind of like, it's a bit David and Goliath. I mean, imagine setting out to build semi trucks when you're going up against Kenworth and Mack and these big extremely well established truck brands that you see around, that have been doing it for absolutely decades. And there's this young upstart from Canada going, I've got a better idea. And people are like, yeah, right. Okay, sure. So, he's up against it, but he's getting it done, and they are taking notice. That's pretty cool. Raider X, was there an American car you saw as a child in New Zealand that you wanted, then as an adult you were able to purchase? Was there? Honestly, as a kid, I just loved I loved whatever I saw. And I mean, the first American car I ever owned was a 66 Studebaker. And I don't think I'd ever seen one before, but it was American, and I was like 16. I had a 283 Chev V8 in it, which from the factory, that was when Studebaker had been taken over by GM. 66 was the first year they put the small block Chev in it. And that instantly became my favorite American car, because I just bought it. And there was not many 16-year-olds that had American V8 cars around. And it wasn't that I had a lot of money. It was just, I was fortunate that my old man had a passion for them as well. And he stumbled upon this car, and it was the right place and the right time and the right price. And, I was able to get it. It was a little unusual in New Zealand, I'll be honest. Because American cars were relatively unusual. So I guess if there's something, and honestly, it just comes to mind really, is my dad had a 59 Plymouth sedan, and we had talked about how cool the wagon version of that would be. He liked station wagons. I like station wagons, always have. And then and now I've got Marge, so that would probably be the car that you're kind of suggesting, is that would be the one that I wanted, and never really ever thought as a kid that I would ever get one, because you just didn't see them in New Zealand. It just wasn't a thing. But when I saw it on Facebook Marketplace, it's like, it just all those memories came flooding back, and it's like, man, I've got to try and figure out how to get that car, and I was lucky enough to be able to do it. So that was pretty cool. Tim Miller, what brand paints were you use? We use a lot of Exalta is a good paint. Chroma base paint. It was always very good and had good runs with that. Used quite a bit of Matrix paints. That's a little. Keystone made that as a little bit more budget friendly, but a good paint. The Mustang's painted with Matrix, and now that's standing up very, very well. Doesn't see a lot of sun, I'll give you that. But yeah, it's nice paint. It's good paint. Tim Miller, trains are hybrids. Absolutely right. Diesel electrics. Yeah, hybrids. Don's Manufacturing, all electric, 2011 Leaf, 100,000 miles. Wow. 2019 Tesla. Huh. That's interesting that you got a 2011 Leaf. My wife and I looked at a Leaf for her probably around that time. We first moved up to Nashville. It was like 2011, 2012. And with her commute, we figured out that she wouldn't make the week because, like, pretty much, unless most of the charging was done, and you can correct, I might be wrong here, but it's my recollection of it. Most of the charging was done off 110 volts, and it took basically 24 hours to recharge a Leaf. So you'd get home, you'd park it in the garage for about 12 hours, 13 hours. So you never got a full charge on it during the week. And with the distance she had to go, and she is a bit of a lead foot, so I knew she was going to not get the mileage that per charge that they were claiming, possibly close to it. But even based on what they were claiming, she was going to get, like, probably not make it home on Thursday, which, so sometimes I wonder why I didn't actually just get that for her, but that's another whole story. But yeah, the Teslas, 2019 Tesla. Yeah, I got a couple of customers, like hot rod guys, with Teslas as well, and they love them. The guy who owns Project Swiss Cheese, that Mustang, he's got a Ford Lightning truck, and he loves it. He absolutely loves it. Not everybody's going to agree with him, but that's just how it is. He's an accountant, and he's done all the math on it, and he knows exactly how far he can go and where he can go, and like, he's all numbers. So yeah, it works really well for him. He puts all his Mustang parts and brings them on down to me, and yeah. Now, Deans of Nomatica. Have you known of anyone painting a vehicle's exterior with Rust-Oleum oil-based enamel paint, spray application, and reduced with mineral spirits? No. The short answer, no. Yeah, you could. I mean, you could reduce it with mineral spirits. I don't know. Save that question for when Kevin's here. Honestly, I'm grasping at straws to try and give you an answer there, and it's like, I'm not really sure. So I'm going to defer that one to Kevin when he's here. So do keep an eye out for him being here, and please come and ask the question again. Craig Nearing, didn't Audi long ago have electric motors in their wheel hubs? This was like in the 1930s, I think. Man, I don't know. Audi, that would have been Auto Union back then, wouldn't it? I don't think Audi existed back then. I think it was Auto Union, if I'm not mistaken. But that's beside the point. Well, electric cars are certainly not new. It's not a new revolution. It's a revolution, but it's not new. Yeah, electric cars and gasoline cars were, as I've been explained to me, they were kind of duking it out, so to speak, back in the day for what was going to catch on the best, and gasoline cars, took over back then. So yeah, I think that's probably quite possible, Craig, that they did that. Yeah, that might have been. So was that they had electric motors in their wheel hubs as well as a gasoline engine, or just in their wheel hubs? Dens of Nomatica, how long would the oil how long would the enamel oil-based paint last? Anyone know or experience? How long it will last is really down to the UV stabilization of the paint, how much UV protectant it has in it. And with Rust-Oleum, I just don't have an answer for that. I don't know. if it's got good UV protectant in it, then it should last quite a while. But Rust-Oleum, I don't. Yeah, it's quite good in rattle cans for certain applications, but I don't know that it would be a good finish paint. I don't know that it's been really designed for that. What's on there? I think there's a new Ram truck uses the 3.6 litre Pentastar as the generator. This makes electric and charges battery and provided electric for the motors. Okay. Well, interesting enough, Kevin Tates of Paint Education, he's got a Dodge Ram truck that is a hybrid, and that's got a very small battery power and electric engine, which is, and part of the generator part of it is so tradesmen can have 110 volts to run their power tools and stuff when they're on a job site if they don't have access to mains power. So yeah, he likes that. He gets quite good mileage out of it because whenever it leaves the traffic lights, it's on the electric motor, and then the gasoline, as soon as it gets up a little bit of speed, it gets that initial acceleration of the heavy weight of the truck. Once the electric engine gets it moving, then the gas engine takes over, and he gets quite good mileage out of it. He's quite impressed with it. But yeah, I don't have any personal experience of it, but yeah. Blue Hill Cemetery, can't help myself. I'm older. You go to the drags and smell the nitromethane, heavenly, long live internal combustion. Driven electric, fun, awesome, fast, not the same. Yeah, no, electric cars are they're their own kind of special. They are. But yeah, that noise, as you say, that smell. But the young generations, the young 20-something, just may not agree with you, buddy. I don't know. They may not. Barracuda. When I was a kid, I wanted a Ford P68 when I grew up. Familiar with that sports racer? No, I'm not. P68. I'm not. You tell me about it, Barry. Golfy09, Kiwi, can you explain how the push-button gear selector worked on the older Dodge Plymouth operator? Mate. No, that's a very good question. I know it's some kind of a ratcheting, like you push the button and obviously it moves the cable, but I've not actually laid eyes on what's in behind the dash that makes it work. I know it's a kind of weird ratcheting system, and it's a little complicated from what I've been told. But that's something it would be fun to look at on old Marge. She's got the push button transmission, and I do like that feature. And I had an old Valiant back in the day, probably about a 64 or 5 AP5 Valiant is what we called them back in New Zealand, and that had the push button auto slant 6, and that was pretty cool. But how they actually work, no, that's a good question. I don't honestly know. But yeah, that's one I could do a little bit of research on and try and figure it out. But the layout's always confusing me because you've got it's they're not kind of in a row. They're not in the same order as like park, reverse, neutral. The layout is quite different. Well, like Marge for a start doesn't have park in the cable. The push button shift, it doesn't have a park, but it's neutral and reverse. Like reverse is stuck in the middle in between two other forward gears. It's kind of odd in the way it works. But so no, don't have a good answer for that one. I'm afraid you've stumped me there. Raider X Barracuda, very cool Ford speed racer style. Okay, all right, little Ford sports car. Don's Manufactory. Traveling with an EV is like riding a motorcycle. You get used to planning fuel stops. Okay, fair enough. Kim Jamison, Rust-Oleum turbo spray cans. Okay. I've seen a little bit of that on some of the reels that I see coming through with, people doing repaints with those super duper Rust-Oleum cans. Now, I know Kevin Tates did a video fairly recently on spray can painting of vehicles and spray can painting in general. And he had a huge amount of views on it, like well north of like 150,000 views on it. So it was a video that was very very well watched and presumably very educational, because it just had lots and lots of questions and got a lot of good positive feedback on that. And he was thinking it's just a video on spray cans, but people were all about it. So go to his YouTube channel and look for that, one of his bigger videos. Golfie 09, Master Coats Paints is in New Jersey. They make great stuff. Only thing is they no longer ship to Canada. But I painted my car over 8 years ago and it still shines and holds up. Okay, that's interesting. Master Coat. Haven't heard of that one. New Jersey. Craig Nearing, about the Audi Auto Union. Not sure on the power unit to the motors. I assumed a gas or diesel engine, perhaps in addition to a battery. Okay. All right. Well, lots of homework for you guys to do this coming week, and you can come back and tell us all about it next week. Don's Manufacturer, 140 miles. Replace the battery. Okay, 140 mile range. Replaced the battery a couple of years ago out of a wrecked 2020, 40 kilowatt hours. Okay. Well, that's probably a smart way of replacing the battery compared to paying retail for it. What's under? I have a 2015 Spark EV with original propulsion battery. Only charges to 55 mile range now. 82 when new. Wow. Car has 43,000 miles, only used for close around town driving, maybe 30 miles tops daily. 20 kilowatt hours here. Wow. That's not great numbers, are they? What's under? Fleetwood. Hey, Kiwi. Hey, all. Hey, Fleetwood. Good to have you along. End of time. Hi from Canada. Welcome along. Barracuda, 67-ish Ford P68. Beautiful shape. Cosworth. Oh, no wonder you like that. Cosworth DFV powered. Yes. Regarded as a failure in racing. Interesting. What a fabulous engine, though. Cosworth DFV, one of the greatest engines ever built. Ever. Kim Jamison, no worries, that orange pea will buff right out. Yeah, that's what 1200 grit's for. Don's Manufactory, the mayor debate is starting. Got to go. See you later. Well, see you, man. You enjoy the politics. But yeah, I guess someone's got to pay attention to it, don't they? Deans of an America, Kiwi. I did spray a truck with Rust-Oleum and reduced with mineral spirits. It sprayed and laid down on the metal. Excellent. No wet sanding was necessary and instant gloss. Well, that is what an animal's supposed to do. Is give you gloss straight out of the gun, out of the can, whatever. It's getting the right, getting it reduce the correct amount is very critical with enamel, because it's so slow drying. Like, if you're ever going to get runs, you're going to get runs in enamel. It's pretty unforgiving like that. If you, you can get it laid. Well, it's been my experience. You get it laid down, and then you think, "Wow, that's looking so good. That's awesome. Didn't I do well?" And then you come back 20 minutes later, and here's a big run. It's like, damn. That's what with the activated paints, with a hardener. Like if you can get them laid down pretty smooth and they don't run in the first couple of minutes, you're golden. It's going to stay. But yeah, the old enamels, they had such a long drying window. Yeah. You had to be, or I had to be, as conservative as I could be. Whenever I was like, just a little bit more and it'll flow out nice, you kind of, just leave well enough alone. But that could have been the materials I was using too. Deans of Nomatica didn't keep the truck long enough to know how long the oil-based Rust-Oleum lasted, though. Yeah, that would have been kind of interesting to know how long it lasted, what the durability was like. Fleetwood, what's the Audi sedan you have, Kiwi? Ida's a classic car guy. Seeing you in that months ago. Still got it? Yeah, 2013 TTRS, and I love it. Okay. Yes, I've still got the Audi. Yeah, I'm not selling that anytime soon. That was a car I never thought I'd be in a position to own. But things came together and I was able to buy it, and it's it's an absolutely fabulous car. Absolutely fabulous. I love it to bits. It's so fast and so good, and it handles so well. It does everything well. It does everything very well. It's only, if you had to kind of critique it, the only thing wrong with it is it's a bit heavy. It's like 4,800 pounds. So it's a heavy car. But you wouldn't know it to drive it. That's where the European handling really shows. Like it doesn't drive like a heavy car. It's very, for its weight, it's actually very nimble, very responsive. It's I love it. But yeah, it's a little bit different. Like you park it beside Marge, and same guy owns those two cars, and you're like I think people wouldn't believe you, But no, I got to drive one of those RS7s, and it's like, I was just so blown away by its performance, and it's like I have to figure out a way to get one of these. So yeah, I did, and yeah. But yeah, it's always fun in a. I mean, it's a little bit of a wolf in sheep's clothing, because it does have a bit of a 4-door, 5-door hatchback Camry. You kind of look to it if you're not really paying attention. So yeah, I've shocked a few, fancy Challengers and Chargers with it. That I've come across on the interstate, and you get after it, and it's 590 horse, so it'll stay with the Hellcat for the most part. The Demon, whatever they call them, the 700 horsepower one. Yeah. And off the line, it's got them dead because it's 4-wheel drive. It's got them like well covered. Deans of Nomatica. Yes, that was the trick, the mixture. Yeah, it's very, very critical. And that's where the good painters, you found out who the good painters were, and who the ones that just thought they were good painters were. Stray bullet. I always had good luck spraying Rust-Oleum, but never done a complete vehicle. As you can do it out of a can, if that's what you're talking about, doing it with a can. I've seen some quite decent paint jobs done with a can. Barry Cooter. I know of someone who painted his VH Charger with enamel house paint with a brush. Looked all right too. Oh, good grief. Good Lord. He'd be ostracized today if you did that to a VH Charger. Good Lord. Glenn Nickerson. The trick with single stage paint is a medium coat. Let it tack and take your time. If you get any imperfections, you can bury them in a coat or two. Yeah. And different guys have different techniques too. There's more than one way to get to a good result. And yeah, some little variances in technique, work for some guys and don't work for others. But yeah, I haven't done a lot with single stage, I'll be honest with you. So Craig Nearing, I have an Audi 80 for sale, 1.9 manual. Okay. What year would that be, an Audi 80? I remember I had an Audi 80 when I can't remember what year it was, but I think at the time I was about 18 or 19. So that dates it into the 70s. Because 19, it would have been right on 1980. So it must have been a 70s, like a early 70s Audi 80. It was a great little car, not pretty by any means, but man, it was good on gas, and went quite well. Front wheel drive, column change, 4-speed. Would make a neat little, would have made a neat little kind of hot rod nowadays. And a lot of people in Europe are hot rodding, or their version of hot rodding. Those 70s European stuff, Audis and BMWs and stuff like that are getting very popular over there. Thunderbird 68. Hey everyone, Kiwi, ever done a vinyl top on a Thunderbird? Doing my 68 right now, and it literally is the most involved system. Thankfully, my interior is out because the chrome attaches from the inside. Right, okay. It's not an easy job doing a vinyl top. But yeah, there's definitely a method to it. I haven't done one on a Thunderbird, but I've done them on a couple of other cars. The right glue is absolutely critical. Get proper Landau top glue, contact cement. Please do not use rattle can trim adhesive. That will not stay on there. It won't last. It's going to peel. You need to get like professional grade Landau top glue, and I think it's Wedgwood that make it. But if you Google Landau top glue, it should come up, and you buy it in gallon cans, and you need the suitable spray gun to spray it with, like an automotive trim spray gun. It's not like a paint spray gun. It's very, very similar, but different size nozzles and stuff. But get some of that. Don't you, like 3M make a heavy duty trim adhesive, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work like that the proper Landau top stuff does. Once that Landau top glue hits, you'll tear the vinyl trying to peel it off again. Like, it sticks. The stuff in a can, it does not stick. It does stick, but nowhere near as good. Not even close. It's all right for that rattle can stuff. Is all right for doing little bits of repair work. You've got a corner curling up somewhere. Interior, not exterior. Get Wedgwood Landau top glue. Trust me, it's worth the money. Fleetwood Audi makes some good ones. Yeah, they do. They make some neat looking cars. There's a guy on YouTube called Ludwig's Garage, and he's got like a 1961 Auto Union, a little two-door sports car kind of thing. Not really, well, it's got a roof. It's not a convertible, but a little small two-door Auto Union. I'm not quite sure what category it would fall under. It's sort of like a sports car, but not quite. Has shades of a 57 Thunderbird look to it. And he's dropped it down. He's all about airbags and super low. Like, he's got it down on the ground. But yeah, it's an Auto Union, and it's cool looking little car. And it is little. Originally had a 3-cylinder 2-stroke engine in the back of it. And he's hot rodded it up with a Volkswagen chassis / pan and V-dub engine in the back of it, which is not a lot of power, but I think it's still double what it had. And it's quite neat. It's well worth a look. Ludwig's Garage, like LUDWIGS, something like that. And yeah, Auto Union. Have a look. He's got some neat stuff. He's got a Corvair that he chopped the top on, it's got it just laying on the ground. But yeah, he's one of, he's that crowd that likes it super low on airbags and stuff. Like if it's not resting on the rockers, then it's too high. And that's not everybody's thing, but it's worth a look to see this little auto union if you've got any kind of affinity for those Audis. What else have we got? James Martin, orange peel. The painter saw it. The body shop manager sees it. I say my boss is old. Take care of my wife's bumper when someone hits her. Okay. Josh Homan, 1.9 and manual suggests pretty old. Yeah, you're probably right there. Volfly, I remember a 79 Caprice. Someone painted it up like an alligator. Teeth for a grill was comical. Lots of black outlined green scales on it. Good Lord. Yes, that is nuts. Glenn Nickerson, my Willis Coupe is wearing 35-year-old Centauri enamel. Okay, I remember that brand. Mixed it myself. Still got a couple of quarts left under the bench since DuPont discontinued it 15 years ago. Is it still liquid at that age? Or is it just turned into a brick in a can? That's pretty old. Fleetwood, I was burying a fisheye this morning on a fender. Got it to flow out, but then it started to sag. Pulled it off the stand and laid it flat before it kicked and the curtain flattened out. White fender. Nice, well done. Good save. Barry Cooter, did I? No, mate, I didn't. I forgot about that one. You just reminded me. The Peter Brock Greg Murphy YouTube video. No, I didn't. Okay, consider myself reminded. I'll have to go and have a look at that. I would like to see that. Mate, did you watch Bathurst at the weekend? I stayed up and watched that. 1:30 in the morning here. Kind of only barely had one eye half open towards the end there, but still a good race. Still the greatest motor race in the world, the Bathurst 1000. Thunderbird 68. On the Rust-Oleum thing, I heard that the grey cans are better quality than the white cans. There you go. Thanks for the advice on the vinyl top. I'm using a brush contact cement. Okay, well, yeah, you don't have to spray it. You can definitely brush it, and like this Landau top glue adhesive, you can brush it or spray it. But yeah, it's just these. You just need a good glue, a good. The 3M stuff that's in the cans and some of the other makes that are in the can, they don't seem to cope well with the heat. And obviously, if you've got a vinyl top on the car and it's out in the sun, it's going to get very hot. So yeah, some of that rattle can stuff, while it's nice and easy and convenient, it will not live with heat. It just won't. Barry Cooter, when I painted shop fittings made out of MDF, it was essential to add lanolin drops in the Juco. Otherwise, the fish eyes were a big problem. Okay. Adding lanolin to it helped. Huh. Okay, that's interesting. Wonder what the lanolin. Wonder what the. Oh, more questions for Kevin. I don't know. Lanolin sounds like, in my head, I'm thinking that's going to make it worse, isn't it? Going to give you more fish eyes, but obviously it wasn't. So I'm going down the wrong road there. James Martin, my boss's car had the orange peel. Mate, my 2008 brand, well, it was brand new when I bought it. In 2008, that had orange peel straight, off the car yard, brand new. It had quite a lot of orange peel. Glenn Nickerson, barely. It's orange, so it's all leaded tints. Okay, I guess you're responding to someone else there. James Martin, yeah, we're about running out of time. We're getting close. Thanks for the show tonight. Well, thanks for watching, commenting. Straight bullet. Your wife will have orange peel on her bumper also, James. Okay, I've got a feeling that we're going off the car topic here somewhere and straying into something else. Okay, Thunderbird 68. Budget is too tight for a spray and I can't really afford the DAT weldwood. I watched an upholstery video and he said I could get away with a generic brush adhesive, quarter the price. Okay. All right. That could well be the case, buddy, honestly. Yeah, I guess the key thing there is probably that it's a brushable type adhesive. Whatever they do to them to get it to spray out of an aerosol can, um, just destroys them. It won't work. Yeah. So, but with a brush on one, like it's still nice and thick, and I guess they just hadn't had to water it down like they do the aerosol cans to get it to spray. But whatever they do to it to get it in a rattle can, it just kills it. So yeah, you should probably. I mean, you'd probably be fine. I'm just not familiar with that. Um, and I'm not an upholsterer, so But I have done quite a lot of headlinings and a handful of vinyl tops. So I'm just, my experience certainly with interior headlinings is that spray stuff won't work. You'll come in, like a week, 2 weeks later, and it'll be hanging. It just doesn't stay. Stray bullet, the body shop that James uses likes orange peel. Okay. Right. Well, guys, we've got under 10 minutes to go. So, what's the last minute questions? Yeah. Kim Jamison Rhino liner. I've used quite a lot of Rhino liner. I like putting it under cars. Craig Nearing, good to catch the show. Yeah, well, thanks for joining in, guys. Thank you. Vilefly, orange peel is caused by humidity. Yep, that can definitely have a big effect on it. Glenn Nickerson, get a cheap or old siphon feed gun and spray contact cement out of the can. Works good, but it's a pain to clean the gun. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I guess an old style siphon gun would work, but I would have thought maybe the nozzle would be a little small to get it out, and with how thick it is. But if you had a decent sized tip in it, you'd get away with that for sure. Yeah. Right. Stray bullet. Well, thank you, man. Thank you. Thanks for all the input and the comments. Jay Russell Finch, don't you just hate pulling stuff apart only to forget how it goes together? I'm struggling with a brake booster. It had 10 screws and I went for it. Oops. Photos, man. Lots of photos. We've all got a phone. Lots of photos. I always take about twice as many pictures as I think I'm going to need. And then I have about half as many as I actually need when it comes to the crunch. So, yeah, lots of photos, lots of angles. Glenn Nickerson, just close the fluid control on the gun. Yep. Plenty of PSI. Yeah, I crank it right up, probably around 80 PSI when I'm spraying contact cement. That's what upholsterers use, a spray gun. The one I've got is a siphon gun, and it looks like an old school siphon paint spray gun, but it just has different nozzles in it, which just let a bit more material out. Kim Jamison, can a guy paint with a power washer? No, I don't believe so. No, I don't believe so. Haven't heard of that one before. Craig Nearing, phones are a godsend for pics. Yeah, they are. Vilefly, it's not reassembly that is the problem for me. It's how the hell I got to everything without removing it that gets me. Oh, you've still got it in the car? Oh, yeah, that's going to be challenging. UP tinkering, really? Oh, thanks, man. You enjoyed the streams and videos? Well, good. That's good. Great. Thanks for watching. Stray bullet. I don't see why not, Kim. It's going to use a ton of paint. Yeah, I'd say so. Vilefly. I have to cheat with the newer cars, then I forget my cheat. Not sure what you're referring to there, but well, I've paced my bourbon out quite nicely. Nobody asked about my shirt today. I've worn it before, actually. But yeah, there we go. 6-pack coming soon. I wore that today because we've got the 6-pack Barracuda in the workshop as I speak. So yeah, I thought I'll wear that one tonight. Yeah. Well, 6-pack, 4-pack. There's a 6-pack hiding under there somewhere. Yeah, working on it. Oh, Barfly. Okay, I get you. Craig Nearing, 6-pack abs. Yeah, actually, I can't even say I had that when I was younger because I really don't think I did. It just wasn't quite as padded when I was younger. What's on to be a Valiant Charger with 3 side draft Webers? Yeah, mate, you had to hear those things to appreciate them. The induction noise was just spectacular. They sounded so good, like with the wide open throttles and starting to rev, getting up into the sweet spot of their rev range. They sounded just awesome. That suction noise through the 6 barrels was it was awesome. Tim Jamison, mine's nearing a 12-pack. Exactly. An internal, who's that? Stray bullet, internal 6-pack. Yeah, just in hiding. Yeah. Barracuda. It's a 70 Barracuda. It's a 70 Barracuda 346-pack TA. So it's a very rare car. I did a video about it a few months back, 3-4 months ago. And we had a problem with it and finally got it back in, and we're digging into the engine now to try and figure out what is making this weird sound. But there'll be a video out on it. We'll finish up the video tomorrow, hopefully sometime, and get it posted tomorrow, maybe, or Thursday, with what we found, because I still don't know really quite what's wrong with it. I know the issue, but what the cause is, not quite sure yet. But time will tell. Well, there you go, guys. We're about out of time. Jinky Reggio. Wow, probably making a mess of that name. Junkie Reggio, something like that. Thank you, Kiwi. Thank you, sir, for watching. Thanks to all of you for tuning in. Thanks for all the comments. And making a Tuesday evening pass very quickly for me. Hopefully it's kind of the same for you. As I say, thanks for joining in. That's about it for tonight, guys. But yeah, watch for some videos coming out. We've got a few in the works. I'm trying to get it up to like 3 a week to put videos out. See how we go. But yeah, certainly plenty of material, but I've just got to find the time to actually film it and then edit it and get it published. So more coming. Pardon me, that bourbon. More coming soon. So yeah, keep your eyes open, and we should have some good stuff for you. But in the meantime, have a great one and take it easy. Look after yourselves and your cars and your loved ones, and see you next week. Take care.